Roundtable submissions, 5 productivity commission reports and days of meetings between 48 hand-picked business and union leaders, senior public servants and economists. So wait, I'm forgetting that Barney rubble between Jim Chalmers and Ted the Teddy Bear O'Brien. Independent MP Dai Le joins us on the desk, and ALP President Wayne Swan joins us now, emerging miraculously from the fog in Brizzy. Swanee, to you first of all. The Productivity Commissioner says none of this is enough to repair Australia's sluggish productivity.
I think that's a stretch of what she said, but I think they made some really good progress, particularly on environmental approvals, housing approvals and so on. But more importantly than that, I think it was a mature discussion that a government can have at the beginning of the term when it's setting out its priorities for the term within the context of all the commitments that it took to the last election.
Lay it out for us. What will happen before the next election that came out of the productivity meetings?
Well, the government will implement all of the promises they made, and the government will take new proposals to the next election. And in the meantime, it'll make progress in the areas they identified last night. I mean, housing is absolutely critical to this country, and particularly to young people, and the environmental approvals for the energy transition. They're the two most important areas of public policy. The government put proposals for those at the last election. It will implement those, and it will deal with some of the regulatory fog in the system that is holding up progress. All
right, Di's champing at the bit here.
Look, you know, it's honestly, you get underwhelmed, really. For me, these roundtables, I mean, it's like a roundabout, right? Hopefully, cars are going around and around, and then when you exit, what are the solutions? You know, you exit into accidents for families and businesses. Now, it's great to have housing on the topic. What about infrastructure? And as you know, I've been calling on the government to really provide that very critical infrastructure between the east-west that will connect our city to the Western Sydney Airport. Now, Western Sydney Airport is going to open next year, supposed to be the gateway, you know, for the world to come into Australia via the Western Sydney, and yet there's no critical infrastructure that will connect people.
The one thing you said too when I was talking to Wayne is that you intervened and said there'll be taxes. Will there be any more taxes, Swanee? I mean, I know that they're looking at a super tax raid. Will that happen?
Well, there's one proposal they took to the last election where multi-millionaires are accessing super tax concessions, and they are paid for by plumbers and workers across the board, and the government is putting that proposal, and people like Ted O'Brien are opposing it.
So you won't
if they want to talk about intergenerational equity, that's a critical change for the future of the country, for the super system and for young Australians.
So you won't meddle any more with tax?
Well, the government has made its position really clear. Big, substantial changes to the tax system will be taken to the people. They took one to the people at the last election. It's being opposed by the Liberal Party, and it's a very important measure to put equity into the tax system.
I think we need to look at the absolute tax reform, but we need to ensure, I mean, people are already paying 45 cents in a dollar at above, you know, a certain amount of wage and salary. So there is
people
high
like you
taxes.
and I, Di.
Yeah, that's right. We pay that already, right? And I think how do we actually ensure that, you know, low to middle income actually can survive with the current cost of living in terms of grocery bills, in terms of high energy bills, and your water bill will go up. So just mark my word, it'll go up. So everybody will be really struggling when more of our utility bills will go up.
We don't need that. OK, let's finish with this one. Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken to Sky News over the last 24 hours or so, and he's doubled down, calling Albo a tainted leader, as Benjamin Netanyahu seems to unleash on Gaza. Swanee, after a busy week and some pretty bad headlines around the world, how do you think it washes up?
I think it's appalling behaviour from the leader of Israel. His behaviour through all of this is not what we should expect from anyone who would claim to be an ally of this country. And I think it should be condemned by all Australians. And I think there is enormous unhappiness in Australia about the behaviour of the Israeli government and what it has done to innocent civilians in that country.
Di?
Look, I have maintained on this program and across a lot of my media interviews is around the peace process is very important for a two-state solution, and that just basically human lives have to, you know, the killings of innocent lives have to stop. That's from my perspective.
The whole thing needs to simmer, right?
It has to stop, really. Yeah.
All right. On that note, we appreciate you being on the show and look forward to a great weekend. Swanee, I'll call you.
Have a good weekend, Slaney.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Said with a cheeky smile. I love it. Sarah.
Are we sure he's in Brisbane today? Gee, look at all that
I
fog,
know.
Carlos. It's crazy. With your 7 a.m.